Here's what opera star Marguerite Piazza says about Camels.
If you want to smoke a cigarette that's mild and good-tasting, too, try Camels. I did, and I found that Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat and a rich flavor that I didn't find in any other brand. Try Camels and see.
He's been a great movie star and a U.S. Navy test pilot. He's been a big-name band leader who plays every instrument in the band. He's been a Broadway leading man, a radio star, and a television star. He's Mr. Versatility, Buddy Rogers.
And I've also been, still am, and will continue to be a Camel smoker. You see, I have a pretty good idea of what I want in a cigarette. I like rich flavor. And to me, there's no cigarette that tastes as good as a Camel. I like a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels do just that.
Like Buddy Rogers, millions find Camels exactly to their liking. Camels are America's most popular cigarette by far. They have a flavor you won't find in any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions. What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
Tens of thousands of doctors in all branches of medicine, in all parts of the country, were asked that question.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
The brand named most was Camel. Yes, surveys show more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Smoke Camels, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy.
As the Cleveland Indians make their bid this year for the American League pennant, catcher Jim Hegan continues to be a very important man in the starting lineup. Here's Jim taking some warm-up pitches between innings. With the exception of 3 years out for military duty, Big Jim has been with the Indians since 1941. Yes, Big Jim. He stands 6'2", and he makes an excellent target for the Cleveland pitchers. He's one of the best catchers in the business, and his warm smile makes him very popular with his teammates. Hegan loves to talk baseball on or off the field, and like a lot of his teammates and so many big league players, Jim gets more pleasure from Camels than from any other cigarette. By testing many different brands, he discovered that Camel has everything he wants in a cigarette. Mildness and flavor that suits his throat and taste to a T. Follow Jim Hegan's lead. Smoke Camels yourself. You'll see why, after all the tests, Camel leads all other brands by billions. The Cleveland pitching staff is considered one of the strongest in the leagues, and one of the Indians' mound stars is Early Wynn. Wynn, a 20-game winner in 1951, is especially effective when the pressure is on. Early, or Gus as he's sometimes called, is a husky Alabaman. He's a cool right-hander, and his coolness has paid off in strikeouts. Watch him charge that bunt in a morning workout. You have to be pretty good to lay one down past Wynn. Like so many Major League ball players, Early enjoys his moments of relaxation with a Camel cigarette. Before Wynn picked Camels for steady smoking, he tried the various mildness tests. The test that gave him the proof he wanted was the 30-day Camel test. He discovered that puff after puff, Camels have a mildness that agrees with his throat and a flavor that doesn't tire his taste. Try Camels yourself. You'll soon see why, after all the tests, Camel is America's favorite cigarette.
Here's your script for tomorrow, Mr. Hames. Rehearsal at 2.
Oh, thanks, Madge. Say, you know something, Madge? Anybody in this business has a pretty tough schedule. For example, I just made a new movie, got some new records to cut. What with radio and television guest appearances, it can get kind of rugged.
Kind of rugged on your voice. Oh, I see you're a Camel smoker, too.
I sure am. With all the singing I do, I've got to think of my throat. And believe me, Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor I couldn't find in any other cigarette.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Every puff's a pleasure.
Let's see what beautiful Ava Gabor does when she finishes a television show. One of the first things is to relax and reach for a cigarette. Yes, they're Camels. Like so many stars who use their voices constantly, Ava Gabor smokes Camels.
Let's go somewhere where we can be comfortable. And I tell you why I smoke Camels. You see, I had to be sure my cigarette agreed with my throat. I tried most of the leading brands, and I found that I liked Camel, the best of all. Camel, the best of all. Try Camels yourself.
Marguerite Piazza, one of the loveliest stars in opera and television, is among the many, many smokers around the country who have made the 30-day Camel mildness test, smoking only Camels for 30 days. Let's hear what Miss Piazza has to say.
If you want to smoke a cigarette that's mild and good tasting, too, try Camels. I did, and I found that Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat. Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat.
Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Why don't you change to Camels, too? Why don't you change to Camels, too?
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Robert Young.
Robert Young would walk a mile for Camels and with haste, for he smoked Camels quite a while. They suit his throat and taste.
Camels, smoke Camels, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
You may have a little trouble finding the town of Alberta Lee, Minnesota on the map, but we probably all know one of its native sons, Richard Carlson. He's been in many movies and in Broadway plays. He has also written plays for Broadway. Like so many stars of the theatrical world, Richard Carlson smokes America's most popular cigarette, Camels. Here's why he smokes Camels.
You know, when you're shooting a picture, you've got to be in good voice. Well, since I switched to Camels, I never worry. Camels get along with my throat pack after pack after pack after. Got a flavor that no other cigarette has.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Won't you join me?
Let's watch a motion picture in the making.
Your racket's over, sweetheart. Believe me, I hate to see a pretty girl like you go to jail.
Okay, print it. Relax, everybody. You too, Mr. Poe.
Well, that's something I really know how to do. Whether it's between scenes in a motion picture or during rehearsals of my radio program, Richard Diamond. I know how to relax. I just sit back and enjoy Camel.